I want to welcome you once again to this platform, A-Class E-Learning. In our previous class, we have looked at the conceptual views about mind theory. We have also looked at the synonyms of mind and also the views of scientists about the word mind. It was also made clear to you that human mind is not located in the brain. But for today's class, which is another episode, we shall be looking at different types of mind. Different types of minds. We have different types of the mind. Specifically, we have 6 types, but we shall be looking at it one after the other for clear understanding. The first type among the types of the mind is joy-oriented mind. Joy-oriented mind. I know the word joy sounds so pleasant to you, and the word joy means happiness, something that is so appealing to the mind in a soft way. When you look at the word joy-oriented mind, you are looking at the kind of mind that is so subtle, an excitement, a passionate outlook, and a playfulness mind that allows other people to feel so comfortable in any situation. A joyous-oriented mind is also a tasky mind that allows fresh ideas to be emanated irrespective of any place that the idea is coming from. A mind that is so joyous, that is so joyful, will attract new ideas, and also we also want other people to be joyous, because if a mind is so corrupt, a mind that is not so free, a mind that is full of sorrowful, a mind that is full of worries almost every time, then such mind can never be called a joy-oriented mind. Mind you, a joy-oriented mind allows high level of organizational meticulousness, and also it allows good structure for any organization. When you see a joyous mind, it shows on that person's face, and you know it clearly from that person's face. So when the mind is a joy-oriented one, then it shows by the face, and also any other person that is interacting with such person, we also have an advantage because the mind is a joy-oriented one. The second one is what they call love-oriented mind. Love-oriented mind. The word love is quite different from the word love, but I don't want to stress that now. But maybe in another subsequent time we shall be looking at the difference between the love and joy, but they are not the same. But a love-oriented mind is a romantic mind that makes sure that Almost every time there is a deep capacity for being caring and affectionate for other people. It cares about other people's welfareism. It feels much more for other people. A love-oriented mind is not a mind that centers on its own well-being alone. It thinks about how will it be better for other people. A love-oriented mind, if such person or such mind has something, he or she will be thinking of how that thing can spread across other people. A love-oriented mind has a deep capacity for other people and also a desire for constant romance in all aspects of life, be it in career or relationship. But mind you, this kind of mind is not situated for aggressive or pressure jobs, because this kind of mind likes something that is calm and something that is natural in nature. Then the third one among the types of mind is hate-oriented mind. Hate-oriented mind. This kind of mind is mostly very serious. This kind of mind has a low sense of humor, a tough an aura of aggressiveness. This kind of mind lacks the aspect of sensitivity, and also to some extent this kind of mind is brutalious in nature, because this kind of mind cannot handle human nature. Rather, what this kind of mind dissipates to people is hatred. This kind of mind never thinks about good or goodness for other fellow. If other fellow has something that is worthy, this kind of mind can think about how such thing can fall off from such fellow. This kind of mind, you have it around almost everywhere in our society, be it in the classroom, in church, in mosque, in family circles, and in relationship. So this kind of mind never thinks about good or something that will benefit other person. Rather, what comes from this mind is hatred almost every time. If somebody is being favored by God, this hatred or hated mind will be the one to think about how such favor can come down from such person. God forbid any one of us having this kind of mind in our body, but if you have such mind you, it can never last you or it can never take you far. Rather, it will delve you into the pit of doom and perdition. And the fourth type of mind is called fear-oriented mind or fearful-oriented mind. People with this kind of mind are highly somehow sincere, somehow loyal, somehow committed, and somehow serious about what they are doing. They mostly lack a good sense of humor, and most of them are highly organized because they have the fear in mind that what I'm doing now, will it be accepted by other people? They don't have that 100% assurance about what they are doing, but rather they have second thoughts about anything they are doing, either good or the other one. So what they have in mind is to be fearful almost all the time, because this kind of mind, though might not be the best, but sometimes it is rather prescribed for human being not to be 100% sure about what you are doing, but you have the element of being sure that this what I'm doing now, you can have 90% assurance, but not 100% all the time. But the last one is sex-oriented mind. Sex-oriented mind. Mind you, to the psychologists and philosophers, they believe that all minds have a sexual nature, but certain minds are totally dominated by this dimension, because you can sense the aura of sexuality in some people. Rather, when you sense the aura of sexuality in them, they may not have such in them. To some extent, psychologists and philosophers, they are of the opinion that anybody who is hairy in nature, such person will be almost 100% attracted to sexual almost every time, or the person will be attracted to sexuality almost every time. But mind you, every human being will have the element of sex-oriented mind, because if you are a male gender, you will be thinking of the female gender. If you are a female gender, you will be thinking of the opposite gender, especially when you clock 18 years and above. So when you have such sex-oriented mind, that means you have the capacity of being a good and creative leader. When you have a sex-oriented mind, you have the opportunity of being a good creative leader. So in every human being, either you like it or not, either you are a joy-oriented mind person or a love-oriented mind person or hatred-oriented mind person or fearful-oriented mind person or sex-oriented mind person. Then the last one is boredom-oriented mind person. Boredom. Mind you, people with this kind of mind are mostly laid back, because they have element of being negative almost every time. They don't think about progress. Rather, they are being weighed down by negativism. They allowed what has happened in the past to weigh them down in the present situation. So for you to cast away yourself from boredom, don't think about what has happened in the past. Rather, think about today, and you think about what will happen tomorrow. Usually, anybody with this kind of mind is always set back almost every time. Such person may never be thinking about what will happen in the nearest future in the positive way. So, as a matter of fact, you are being enjoined to have a good mind at every time, especially joy-oriented mind and a love-oriented mind almost every time. But mind you, every human being is being gifted when it comes to sex-oriented mind. Then away from that, let us look at the negativities in the mind. Negativities in the mind is talking about all the negative things that human being that we have in our mind. When you have all these negativities in the mind, it will weigh your mind. It will not soften your mind. Also, it will allow your mind to be occupied with filthy things. And among the negativities in the mind, number one is suppression. Suppression. When you talk about suppression, we are looking at when you allow something to subdue your mind from the normal thing. Normally, a human being is being gifted with something called emotion. But the level of your emotion being attracted with your own negative thinking will suppress your mind from not thinking forward. But however, you are meant to think positive things all the time. But mind you, as you are thinking about the positive things, in one corner or in a bit corner of your mind, you might be thinking about negative things. That what if this thing happens? What if this happens? What would be the repercussion? Somebody who is being holy and the person is being caught stealing something or being caught in examination malpractices. Such thing will suppress the mind of that person to what? To something that is not or cannot be reckoned with almost every time. So it means that suppression is a negative thing that we have in the mind. But when you allow suppression to take care of your mind, then it weighs you down. It weighs you down. And also, it will not take you out from your present situation. And number two, among the negativities in the mind is neediness. Neediness. Normally, naturally, human beings, we are being needful. There is no how a person will wake up in the morning and he or she will say he's not being needful of something. Naturally, we are created to be needful, meaning we keep wanting till we die. But when a human being, you have something and you are not being satisfied, not being contented about what you have, you keep on wanting and you now keep yourself in the position of neediness. Because when you have bicycle, if you are not contented about that bicycle, you'll be thinking of having something higher than bicycle. When you have something higher than bicycle, you'll be thinking of having something higher than that. When you have something higher than that, let's say tricycle, you'll be thinking of having a car. When you have a car, you'll be thinking of having a jeep. When you have a jeep, you'll be thinking of having helicopter. When you have helicopter, you'll be thinking of having a jet. When you have a jet, you think of having more. So when you are doing this, you are putting yourself in the aspect of neediness. But mind you, there's no how you will not be needful, or you will not need something in life. But when you keep yourself in such environment or in such situation, it gives you one of the negativities in the mind. And if you are not contented enough, you are not conscious about that, then your mind will now lead you to what is called taking another person's property. Why do you think somebody will take another person's property? It's because of the negativities in the mind, which is from the word neediness. Another one which is very important for us to know is oversensitivity. Oversensitivity. Oversensitivity is one of the things to be very conscious about, because if you are not being conscious about being oversensitivity, there is nothing wrong in being sensitivity or being sensitive about something. But when you have over, that is something above average, then that is a problem of the mind. And when you have that one, meaning you will be thinking about something you don't have access to. Mind you, people who are oversensitive are easy targets for victimization because of their tendency toward the notion of the self-sacrifice. When you look at some times whereby people are being duped either online or facial contact, it is because of oversensitivity. Because when you are being sensitive of something, somebody just mentioned something to you about a business, you have not taken your time to study or to understand or to find more about the business, but you are being carried away by that business or what will come after the business. When you have that one, you see that you will now lure yourself into foreignism, and that will now lead you into you losing your property, and that comes from oversensitivity. Thank you for your time.